What is up, YouTube? PPS here. Monotone is back in the house. We took a full week off. That was my bad. I was in Florida. Got a little bit of sun here. Kind of need it with how I come back and it's like 2 degrees in Wisconsin here. So it's like I got a little culture shock coming back, and it was rough, man. But saw you kill football. How was your week? Obviously, I wasn't able to pass the prop with you on Friday, but it looked like you had a great week.
Yeah, man, it was a great week. Honestly, it's our first sweep in a long time. Like a lot of the prop community, I really honed in on the incentive-based props. That was kind of like the big thing last week, and I know a lot of people were not a fan. There was kind of almost like a counter movement of people that were commenting on my posts, like, "Hey, man, these incentives are stupid. These guys are so rich. You're gonna lose all your money this week." So luckily, those people were wrong, and we ended up having a good week.
Yeah, no, I did okay. It wasn't anything great for me personally, but I'm so excited. I can't wait to break down with you on Friday again.
Yeah.
With this freaking sweet little setup of three games, Saturday, Sunday. Looks like I will be drinking a lot of beer here up in Wisconsin here. Luckily, don't have to worry about my Packers being eliminated first round. We get that bye. I'm looking into getting tickets right now to one of the playoff games. So hopefully the Packers can win, and I can get to see. This would be my first ever playoff game. I've gone to about 4 or 5 a year, like to Lambeau, but I've never been to a playoff game. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, if the Packers can continue to win here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, sorry about Washington. I think they didn't lose their coach yet, did they? They didn't get rid of Rivera?
We're hanging on to Rivera for a little bit. We're not quite in that market quite yet. Maybe next year if it's another down year, but not yet.
Yeah, dude, it was a lot. I saw all that news. I was in the airport and I just saw all this fired. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And it's gonna be weird without seeing Nagy and Zimmer in the division now. It's gonna be weird with that, but. How we doing, Brandon? Yes, culture shot. That is absolutely correct. And calling our shots in here. Awesome to see you're in the chat, man. Hope you're killing it. Yeah, I think we're gonna have I have a good feeling about today. My long shot just feels like a steal today at plus 2,200. I didn't even show you that one yet, but it's gonna be a banger. I'm excited. Too bad for Washington. Joe Judge got fired.
Yeah. It was so funny the way they did it, too. They said he's staying, They were like, he's coming back. And all the Giants fans got pissed off. And then they were like, no, we can't. As someone who had money on the Washington game, right, they gave up. They legitimately gave up. Like that famous play where he did the quarterback sneak on 3rd and 9, the whole world saw that. That's a move you make when you want to get fired. So Joe Judge clearly wanted to go back to college. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think they had an interview or something. I don't know if it was today, but Rodgers was on McAfee show and just ripping up Joe Judge, and it was hilarious, dude. That's my favorite thing about Rodgers this year is the dude has literally become such a fucking savage in the media. The dude doesn't give a crap, man. He is just ripping everybody. He rips the GM. He doesn't care, man. The dude just goes nuts on these guys. I think it's absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I saw him on McAfee there. I think that it might have been yesterday, but he's with AJ Hawk, the old Packer, with McAfee there. So it was pretty cool to see him rip them guys up.
Yeah, those are always fun. Oh, Frank Reich might have to go too.
That was tough.
It was there's no way that should have happened, right? Like nobody expected that. But I still think Reich is probably better than a lot of the coaches out there. I think it's time to move on from the Carson Wentz experiment, though. I don't know what's going to happen there, but it might be time.
Yeah, if anything, you got to get rid of him. It can't be. I can't get rid of the coach because this is the thing about everybody ripping coaches is I'll rip coaches too, but who are you going to replace them with?
Yeah,
you can't just throw them out
Yep.
and have no game plan. You got to throw them out and have a person lined up, like Flores. Everybody's talking about Harbaugh there, so possibly going there after the year. So yeah, they have a plan, and I don't know how he got fired, but Flores will make some team pretty happy. So
yep.
NBA props. How we doing, man? Let's go, boys. Yeah, I'm excited. I think this is gonna be a fire slate today. Yeah, QB sneak on your own goal line was insane. This is a good one for you. Who do you got, JT or Cup? I have mine, but I'm obviously super biased. So
Yeah, it's really hard for me, honestly. I think it's maybe I'm being affected by the fact that Cooper Cup isn't so flashy. Like he's really, really good, but he's not flashy. My gut kind of tells me Jonathan Taylor, but it's hard. I don't know. It's pretty hard. What are the odds? Are the odds really one sided or no?
I don't know. I would assume quarterback would be probably winning offensive player of the year. I would guess, or
Well,
is
no,
this
that
for player?
offense. Yeah,
Player.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I read that wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to go against Taylor. I think the only reason I would say Cup is just because you left with such a sour taste in your mouth from that last game.
That's true.
It could take into effect, dude. I just think Taylor's year this year was stupid. Like, obviously you could say it was getting that many touches, but the dude was effective in almost every single game. Like everybody knew they were running it too.
Yeah.
And he still was fairly easy running through these guys. Yeah, odds were dead even heading in -110, -110.
Yeah, it's a coin flip, man. That's crazy. I don't know if I'd bet either side, to be honest. Unless like we heard some news on like what insiders are leaning towards, because you never know what these kind of voters are thinking, right? We view football so differently than they do, so I don't know.
Yeah, how many of them are going to be like freaking that guy who came out in the media saying he's not voting for Rodgers because he's not nice? Bro, how could you have a job? How is this man employed? This man should be probably thrown in jail for freaking collusion or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a chat full of football, and today's Wednesday, guys. We're here for basketball.
Yeah. It's a massive slate. A lot of huge totals. Some that we don't usually see, right? I mean, 2 years ago, NBA with all the fouls and stuff, you're seeing your upper 230s. Now I think we might have seen maybe one or two with totals like this. But when you got teams rolling out defenses that really are suspect, and we're in 230.5 for the Lakers game, 233 for the Rockets game, and 236 for the Nets game tonight. So absolutely games that should be blowing up. DFS numbers that'll probably be sky high. But let's get right into it. We'll drop a quick recap. I think we both went 1-1 last week.
Yeah.
If I can remember correctly. Aaron Gordon crush for you. Jokic crush for me. Unfortunately went with my plus money play on Gafford. And he fouled out in like 12 minutes. Dude was a freaking hacking Zubac last night. And then that was the night that Hero just decided to suck. And then the next game was the go-off game. It was so weird.
He shot the ball like 25 times. He made like 5. It was tough. It's tough.
Yeah, and that sucked because I saw Van Vliet hitting like this third quarter.
Easily. First half. Yep. And then Hero. Oh, that was frustrating. Same with yours too, right?
Because I had Giddy crush and Cade Cunningham. They were getting blown out.
Yeah.
And he had 8 assists. Yep. And I'm like, oh, no, dude. He had like 27 minutes. And I would have killed that one too. That would have been a nice cash. But, it's a new week. I'm excited for this one. We got some good plus money plays coming at you again. We'll get it started here with your first play of the day, rolling with a guy who's been crushing it.
Yep. Yeah, so I've kind of changed my approach to the NBA a little bit more recently. I think earlier in the year I was probably getting a little too cute, trying to find like, I don't know, just like I was doing a little bit too much. But I've been kind of simplifying recently and just kind of like thinking about the game, in a little bit of a different perspective. And I think you're going to see that in both the plays today, but I'm really not overthinking it right here. I think this one is actually super simple, right? We just saw Kyle Kuzma very recently, 2 games ago, score 27 points and grab 22 rebounds against the Magic. He's averaging 24.3 points over his last 10 games. There's no Bradley Beal thanks to concussion protocol. Kuzma looks really good when I watch him play. Like the guy is out there and he's absolutely balling out. I think this line would be 22, maybe 23, but I think a lot of people are scared about Washington's rotation right now. And as a Washington fan, I don't necessarily blame you. Like a lot of people were telling me Thomas Bryant could interfere with this because he technically is expected to make his debut. But this guy had a pretty gruesome injury. He's played no actual NBA minutes since coming back. He didn't go down to the G League or anything like that. I have a hard time seeing Thomas Bryant play more than 12 to 15 minutes tonight. Additionally, Rui is still on a hard capped minutes limit. But even if he wasn't, the number one thing is Kyle Kuzma is keeping this team in games against bad teams. Like Washington isn't playing particularly well right now, but Kuzma kind of has been that shining light over these last couple games. We know he just destroyed the Magic. Additionally, the Magic now have no rim protection. Wendell Carter Jr. and Mo Bamba are both out. Kuzma's really been attacking the rim. That's what he does really well. He kind of gets off these quick little screens when Dinwiddie's carrying the ball. He gets the ball in the middle, right next to the free throw line, and he just drives, and he's making it work. All these floaters, these little mid-range step backs, everything around the rim is falling perfectly for Kuzma right now. So I loved it at 20.5. It's on FanDuel. A couple other places do have 21.5. I like it there too. Perfectly fine still for a unit. I'm a big fan of Kyle Kuzma staying hot tonight.
Yeah, dude, his numbers have been nuts. I've been rolling with him in DFS quite often. I had him last night. That's the only reason I'm concerned with this is because he has been doing so good. How are you giving me 20 and a half? You know, because he's been that good. Like, it's a number that makes you think. 29 against Oklahoma City. I think that was yesterday. 27 and 22, like you said, against Orlando. He's cleared 20 in, let's count, 2, 4, 6, 8 straight games. And the thing that's really jumped out to me is he's shooting like 30, only shooting like 30% from three. Like, it's not like he's blowing up the scoreboard from three. So he's making shots that are obviously closer to the rim, and he's not relying completely on the three like you saw him have to do when he was with the Lakers, when they only needed him to shoot threes in a spot up roll. It's kind of like Talon Horton Tucker right now when you have all these dudes who can drive and kick, but you're not a setup shooter. Kyle Kuzma is a slasher. Kyle Kuzma has a great mid-range game. And dude has just been blowing up to almost 9K on DFS sites now. Yeah, it's going to be absolutely nuts. Like I said, in his last 6, he's averaging 27 points. He's shooting 50+% from the field, which is really cool to see a guy really come into his own that might really need to he needed to maybe get out of LA to really find himself. And I like that he's getting it here.
Yesterday in his post-game interview, he said when he was with the Lakers, he was always like learning. You know, the role he had on the team wasn't leadership, it was learning. But, you know, he said kind of ever since he's come over to the Wizards, it's really been like people are depending on Kyle Kuzma, which may be a scary thought at first, but he really has been, you know, really just stepping up to the table. And earlier you did say you were kind of thinking like, why is this 20.5, you know? And that's something I used to do a lot, I think. And it led me to miss out on a lot of good picks right here. Like, because my thought process is if a guy does it 8 times in a row, he might be due for some regression, right? That's kind of a very easy thought to come to. But I find that when you have such a good matchup and you can tell that a player's hot right now, I'm perfectly fine with continuing to ride it. I'm not going to let myself get caught up on stuff like that when I used to. Like the Magic have 2 of their starting centers out right now. Kuzma's been attacking the paint, shooting more than he's ever shot in his career. Yes, he's done it a couple times in a row. I think he does it again tonight.
Yeah, the only reason I even said that was because you were talking about that rotation. Yeah. And it's so tight right now that Kuzma's playing so high in minutes, coming off a back-to-back. It's just kind of – that's my thought process is that's what has to be thinking in some of these people's minds for you to give me this line because it's just weird because he has been killing it so much. Would you take 21.5 on it? We're seeing most people posting that's what it's at in most places.
Yeah, I feel perfectly comfortable with it at 21 right here. And the other thing, the final thing I want to say about this one too is – it is a back-to-back, but this is also, more importantly, Spencer Dinwiddie's first back-to-back since his major injury with the Nets at the beginning of last year. So this is the first one he's actually played since a serious injury. So that's something to consider. You know, Dinwiddie might not be himself. He's clearly been looking for other people to kind of take over recently. His assist numbers have been through the roof. I mean, you see it right now. His assists are like 8.5 right now. So he might, if he gets kind of winded early, if he's not quite feeling it in the back-to-back, it's just another reason for Kuzma to step up and do even better.
Perfect. We got some guys rolling in the chat. Appreciate you guys rolling with them. Love this pick from Kuz with no Beal. NBA props also talking about KCP might be a guy to look at in bigger field GPP plays here, right? Lower owned type of guys here. Let me I have a guy in here. Hold this thought. I will talk about him in a little bit. I promise we'll get to him. So I'm actually going to stay in the same game. We're actually just talking about everything that I'm going to be talking about. I'm rolling with my guy Chuma Okeke over 6.5 rebounds. It was close to plus money this morning at minus 105. I would not be surprised to see this more around the minus 120, minus 130 range. And you brought it up right away, right? Kuzma's going to be slashing. But Bamba and Carter both missing tonight. Wendell Carter this year has almost a 19% rebounding rate. Bamba has a 16% rebounding rate. Where are those going to go? I have a hard time feeling that Franz Wagner is really going to grab every single one of these. I really don't even know who's going to play center for the Magic tonight. Looking at
Robin Lopez.
Yeah, I saw Robin Lopez on I'm on RotoWire here just taking a look. But I'm looking at it, and there's like no one left after.
Yeah.
So Chuma's going to get his run. He's had multiple games with 30-plus minutes, hit 6 rebounds in his last 2 games, and also had a 10-rebound game in there as well. With Bryant back, I mean, you could see him guarding Kuzma, to be honest. You could see him in that type of role. And Kuzma's a great rebounder himself, so I think that those both could be good spots with a lot of threes probably coming up in this game. We got, like we said, KCP's here. Kuzma has been shooting them. I think he's only been shooting like 30%, but he's still putting up about 6 a game in the last 8. So we could see those long rebounds, Chuma to grab here. I really don't know who can pull him. You know, like how can you pull him out of this game? There's just not enough bodies here for the Magic. And Chuma has played, he plays a lot bigger than his actual size. He moves into that power forward role at only 6'6". So him being able to be on the court in a game where a lot of threes are probably going to be going up. And Robin Lopez, really not the most conditioned player. I haven't really seen him play much. When he played with the Bucks, we had him on like 4-minute spurts. He was very good for those 4 minutes. Don't get me wrong. He did fantastic. But he's not a guy that's going to be running out 35 minutes here. Chuma's going to be a guy probably getting mid-30s. I'm projecting him for like 34 to 36 minutes and probably going to have to go over it if this game stays competitive. I just really don't know who's going to grab these rebounds besides him. I don't see Robin Lopez grabbing 20. I don't see Wagner grabbing 10 and us only having to get to almost his average here. And with missing guys, 35% of the rebounding percentage is gone. So I think Chuma's the guy who gets most of that work and grabs most of those boards from these missed threes or other shots in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. He is 100% in the category of guy that definitely plays bigger than they are. Like, if you probably asked me his size, I'd probably guess like 6'8", you know, just because technically they do list Franz as the 4 sometimes, as kind of more of a point forward. But I mean, Chuma's essentially playing the 4 in these kind of lineups that they do go when it's not the Wendell Carter, Mo Bamba lineups. I have a really hard time seeing Robin Lopez play more than 26, 27 minutes. He did get there a couple times with the Wizards last year, but that was also when he was in a much more active, like, playing role with the Wizards. He hasn't really done that. Is Mo also healthy? Is Mo Wagner healthy?
I'm on RotoWire right now, and I'm just reading off of their out list, and it's just damn near everyone. Obviously, your Suggs and everybody, their Fultz and stuff, but I think Wagner is still playing. Let me check. I'll check.
Because that's even better for this bet. If Robin Lopez comes off, the center minutes will probably go to Mo Wagner, and the guy sits out on the 3-point line.
Yeah.
He has no interest in playing with the big boys down there. So I think that's exactly where Chuma is going to slide in those kind of smaller lineups when Lopez goes off the floor. And yeah, I could see him grabbing double-digit rebounds really easily right here.
Yeah, I really like it. Something that K-Ram posted here. Cole Anthony had 7.5 rebounds. I get that. that's just so many. And it's a guy that I don't think he's going to be grabbing that many. He's going to be running around having to guard Dinwiddie quite often here too. I'm going to take my chances on a guy who's probably going to have more rebounding opportunities in this one. Obviously, rebounding props are tough to get. It's really hard to kind of get that. But with the amount of time on the court mixed with him playing so much bigger than his size, super aggressive guy. Even at Auburn, he was like that too. Like I said, last game alone, and that was only with Wendell out, he had 34 minutes on court. So you might see him be pushing that 38-minute mark. And if that happens, this should be a smash here.
Yeah, no, that Anthony number is sharp, right? Like it's too high to go. Like Anthony is an active rebounder for a guard, which is what you look for. He does like grabbing those boards, but yeah, I can't go to 8 in a game like this. That's very high.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be so good offensively too, with all those dudes missing out here. I get the 7.5. It's such a big number and not a good matchup. Yeah, I would take under if anything there.
Yep.
Or since we're the bettors, guys, we don't have to bet everything, right? We can take that one off if we're not feeling super confident about it. But one that you're feeling pretty confident about is a game in that fast-paced one with the Sacramento Kings and the LA Lakers.
Yeah, man, these games are interesting, right? These Lakers-Kings games, they always have the super high total. There's always the super chalky pick of the day. Last game it was Malik Monk. I remember actually that was like kind of my first day back, right? Kind of getting into it more seriously, coming back from traveling a little bit. And I got that right up out for Malik Monk, 15 points, at like 12 in the morning. And I was like, dang, I just found the sneakiest thing. This is great. Nobody else is going to know about this one. I just snagged one. And I woke up and like 90% of Twitter was on it. There was probably a boost for it. I was like, oh my God, my sneaky find suddenly has become the mega chalk. Luckily he did hit there. So yeah, these games are fun. I really do like these games where the total is back up to last year. We got the craziness back. And I was really kicking myself for not playing De'Aaron Fox last time in this matchup. It was on my mind all day. But if you guys remember, this was also in the span when Tyrese Halliburton was kind of setting the world on fire a little bit. So I ended up holding back. But I'm not going to make that same mistake again twice. And this one is really simple. Just like I was saying before, what does De'Aaron Fox do better than almost any point guard in the league? He attacks the rim and he scores points in transition. That fits this matchup perfectly. Tyrese Halliburton has been playing great this year, and he is built to beat a lot of different defenses. But when you look at the strengths that De'Aaron Fox has, it's really made to exploit the Lakers. The Lakers are most likely going to be rolling with LeBron James at the 5 once again. That has been huge for how teams attack the Lakers. It's necessary for the Lakers to stay in games offensively, but the huge consequences come defensively. So as we know, LeBron was at the 5 last game and De'Aaron Fox scored 30 points. There's not going to be a lot of rim protection here, and I expect De'Aaron Fox to continue driving at one of the highest rates in the league like he has since the start of last year.
Yes, that is something I will talk about in our DFS portion here for sure. I love this spot. I think Fox is going to have a big night. And he's discounted over Westbrook too. If you go on to almost every site, he's almost $2,000 cheaper on most of them. So he might be that nice little contrarian play. Obviously, most people are going to be riding with your Westbrooks, your LeBrons. There's just so many superstars on tonight's slate that De'Aaron Fox could be one of those guys that flies under the radar here in a game that he's going to be obviously on the floor a lot. I know that some people were kind of speculating that shoulder injury might be a little bit more than we've been kind of led on to believe. I know in the first game prior, I think it was against Cleveland, right? His first game coming off of like getting it bumped. Only played 28 minutes, but he was still out there, still did decent. And now I think this is that game he gets his true workload back, because I know that they were talking about it being just kind of an issue on his jump shot. So this could be that game where he gets it back in a big way, in a game that should be fast-paced, fun to watch. And I think it's the nightcap game at the same time as the Nets game too. So it should be two big hammers. So you got to make sure you got a guy in those games for DFS action, because I hated watching my little arrow keep going further and further down. when everybody's rolling with somebody in the late game.
Yeah, if you are first place or top 30 in your GPP at 10 o'clock, I would not expect to hold on to that score. There are going to be a lot of guys coming for you in those last games with high totals. So I am glad you're on De'Aaron Fox. I'm glad you kind of are seeing what I'm seeing, because I think a lot of people genuinely do think of Tyrese Halliburton in the same vein as De'Aaron Fox. They're like, well, there's another guy that's just as good right there. And I think Halliburton will get there. I'm not going to argue with you about future outlook. But for now, De'Aaron Fox is a very good point guard. He showed that last year. He's shown it again. And now we're getting a matchup that really kind of brings out his strengths. I know Halliburton's there. He scored 30 with him last game. I think he can do it again right here.
Yeah, love it. Love Fox. We got Nick here talking about assists. Is that something that you looked at too, or are you looking more towards the points action, especially when you have a guy like Halliburton on that roster who is able to pass the ball as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. So my first thought was points assists, honestly. But what I look for in those kind of props is really upside, right? I want someone to have 8 assist upside, 9 assist upside. When I kind of play those points plus assist, just in case he is kind of lacking in the shooting department. So if his points assist is 25.5 and the points number is 20, if he scores 18 and 8 and he still gets there, that's fine. The problem is when I was looking through Fox's box scores, I don't really love the lack of assist upside. And that's truly because he has another primary ball handler right next to him. So I do like his assists by itself. But when I'm thinking which one do I like more, it's points. And then is there enough value to then add points and assists? I felt like most of the value came from points there, so I held off. But I don't mind it. I just think his upside is capped because he's playing on the court with another point guard.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time you've seen him go 7+ assists? He had 7 against Dallas. That was 6 games ago. So, I mean, like I said, he easily could hit 5. I wouldn't be worried about 5 number. But I can't imagine that's not super juice. I would imagine that's probably like -130, -140.
Yep, that's exactly where it is in most spots.
Yeah. I do this way too freaking much, dude. This is stupid how my freaking brain works. Like, I couldn't do shit for math, but it's just like all these numbers right here. I'm like, I wish I was better at math doing this stuff because I would be freaking genius, but I'm stuck here,
It is what it is.
Keep asking questions, guys. I got my last play coming up. Looks like we have a few people bringing up some nice questions in here that we will get to in a moment. Especially, I think we just saw someone talk about Jalen Brunson. We will get to him in a second. I'm actually going to bring up my guy, K-Rim, guy who's in here all the time. Appreciate you staying in here with us and watching the show. I will actually start talking about this one right now for you guys. And it's going to be my biggest play of the day. I'm going rebounds, assists here. And it actually was a very good point in the chat that I was going to bring up was the Spurs could have like 3 dudes coming back from COVID tonight. We've seen DeJounte Murray just absolutely destroying the box score here lately. 22, 27, 19, and 24 on the points scored end of it. And obviously, I think that he'll still be good scoring-wise. I didn't want to touch the points here because I don't know if they're going to all play, right? If all those guys play, that could take quite a few shots away from him here. But I'm gonna be going with rebounds, assists, and I think that this spot is just. I think this number is way off. I was expecting this at like 18.5, especially against this Rockets team, who is the worst defense in the NBA. Defensive efficiency ranking last. We have 2 of the top 5 pace teams in this one. Surprisingly, when everybody thinks of the Spurs, you think slow, methodical. Now when you have an absolute superstar at the helm here in DeJounte Murray, I think we're getting a huge discount because of the last 4 games of DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray has obviously killed it in the scoring department, but 3 out of the 4 games are against bottom 5 pace teams there. So we had Philly, New York, and Boston were 3 of his last 4 games. Really slow type of games. If you go back like 5 games, he played the Lakers. He had 19 rebounds, assists, 24 versus the Clippers in 30 minutes, 16 versus Sacramento, and 22 versus Utah. We only have a 6-point spread in this one, which is crazy to me because I think the Spurs are better. but Houston will actually not do terrible in this game. I think this Houston side is pretty big in DFS for tonight because you're going to need one of these guys. They're not super pricey. And Houston is going against a San Antonio defense that ranks 21st in defensive efficiency as well. So it's not like these guys play good defense. It's not like the Jazz where the Jazz blow out so many teams because they score very well and they play good defense. San Antonio doesn't play defense. They're like I said, 21st in the league. I would never have guessed that if I wasn't obviously looking up these numbers. But Houston should have a field day here. Obviously, a 233 spread. And I think DeJounte Murray is obviously going to have to be very heavily involved. I actually hope some of these guys are back because he's going to be the one that's obviously still dishing and stuff. The biggest one is if Derek White is back, I'd be a little bit more concerned here. But he's one I don't imagine seeing tonight. I was looking at, I think Vassell might be back, possibly Keldon Johnson as well. But this is one of those games that I see DeJounte Murray flirting triple-double because this is the type of game like he had 3 triple-doubles in his last 10 games. Let's go with those three teams he played were New Orleans, terrible defense, fast pace. Utah, he single-handedly kept him in that Utah game. That was one of the best performances I've seen him have. 16, 11, and 11 in 37 minutes. His shot wasn't falling, and all of a sudden you just see him dishing. Kept them in that game. Was an absolutely crazy game. I think they won by 2. It was like 130, 128 or something like that. 128, 126, something like that. And then we had, like I said, New Orleans, Utah, and the Clippers. All teams that are willing to run with you. And who else would want to run with you but the Houston freaking Rockets?
Yeah.
These guys suck on defense. They're fast. They do everything that you want them to do here to scream for DeJounte Murray to have one of his peak games. Only concern is a blowout, but a 6-point spread already listed on there. Hoping we don't see Derek White tonight. So we can have maybe 1 or 2 of those guys come back so he gets a little bit more pass happy here. But I think DeJounte Murray is an absolute smash on the slate.
Yeah, man. I mean, where's one place the Spurs really are really good? It's in transition. That's where the Spurs really kind of are very strong or have been this season. And that's a great place to kind of rack up easy assist, easy rebound opportunities. And I can't imagine there's going to be many worse transition defenses out there than the Houston Rockets. Like you said, one of the highest flying teams in the NBA. Not a lot of defense is going to be happening. What we are going to see is a lot of 3-point shots, a lot of, transition points. I think this game is going to get pretty close to that super high total we're seeing. And the players coming back is a little bit worrying, but what we do have to remember is Murray was doing this when all those guys were here. He was constantly putting up triple doubles, double doubles when everyone was healthy. And Derek White, the only reason he was seeing such a huge assist rate was because Murray was out. When Murray's in the lineup, Derek White's not going to dish out more than 5 or 6 assists on any given night. So I'm still liking this spot a lot. If the Rockets keep it close, it should get there very easily.
Yeah, I just don't know. I'm not worried about anything on Jakob Poeltl's side. I don't think that he's anything to write home about on the defensive end. Christian Wood should have a field day there.
I like Poeltl. Poeltl.
I've been taking his double-double quite often.
Yeah.
He just grabs boards. But, defensively, he is an absolute liability against these guys who take him out to the outside. That guys that are actual athletic centers destroy him.
Yeah, a Christian Wood type of guy is not a good matchup for Poeltl, but Poeltl is very good at navigating the pick and roll on defense. He's a good shot blocker too. He's a very underrated shot blocker. But you're right, in a matchup where Christian Wood can dribble back to the 3-point line, Poeltl's gonna struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I think he gets cooked on defense, but I would not be surprised because their pick and roll is one of the best in the league. But DeJounte Murray getting those drop down assists, those little quick under the what are those? The drop down passes, bounce passes there, here. I think that's going to be a blow up spot because Christian Wood does not give a shit about defense. That man, when he played for the Bucks, I think that's really why we got rid of him. And it sucked because he was so good. He was I think our G League player of the year, came up, had 15-point game, 20-point game when Giannis didn't play. And then all of a sudden we got rid of him for Frank Mason because we brought him onto the roster. And everybody's like, why? Why did we get rid of him? It's because Christian Wood does not give a shit about defense. I would love to see his defensive stats or his like metrics on defense because they are terrible. Like he was such a liability there on the defensive side. So let's take a look. I'm gonna roll up here, see if we have any other questions from earlier in the show, so we can make sure we get to everything that you guys have. I do not think we have anything too far up. Any thoughts tonight on Mr. Dennis Schroeder here, over 4.5 assists?
That's tough. Schroeder actually has been very reliable when opportunity does strike. My biggest problem here is I'm pro Schroeder when Jaylen Brown is out. Not Marcus Smart isn't enough for me. I understand the appeal. I understand the angle. He gets back into that lineup. He will get a minutes increase, but Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are still two extremely high usage players. Schroeder isn't going to handle the ball as much as I'd like him to. So for that reason, I'm going to sit back a little bit. I don't have any problems with this play at all. I see the angle. I'm just personally pro Schroeder, but only when Jaylen Brown is out.
Yeah, I just checked it right now. We only have a 17% usage rate for Marcus Smart. I think Tatum's over 30, and Jaylen Brown is not far behind. So I don't know who came out and said that that these guys just play one-on-one basketball, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, like Schroeder can do that dump down that most teams would get assists on, but Tatum is dribbling that ball 5 to 6 times to get to the spot he wants, you know. So that takes away a lot of assist spots for tonight for sure on that end. I am not a huge Schroeder fan. I think he shoots too quite often for a guard. I don't see him getting many assists on my end. We have a guy in there rolling with Brown assists. I like that. Yeah, I saw that the Spurs lines did go away. I did take them out it was like 11 that I did this and grabbed all of it. So, yeah, I don't know if it's just waiting for all the
I think it's a response to the news that dropped that, oh, wait, they might actually be in, even though we initially said they were out. But all that would mean is that you might get this at an even better number is probably the only way that would go if these guys are in. So,
yes. How do you feel about Eric Gordon's matchup tonight in that same game against the Spurs?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've bet Eric Gordon all year. It's not that he's not a good player. It's just the Rockets shoot a lot, and they don't have a great distributor on that team. Kevin Porter Jr. normally can rack up some assists, but normally when that happens, he racks up his fair share of turnovers. Jalen Green has absolutely no thought, even very rarely, even when Kevin Porter Jr. is out, of passing the ball. When he gets the ball, he sees himself dunking it. He sees himself making a step back three. He never sees himself making a great pass. So Gordon, it's tough for me. He's a real hard guy for me. It's a good matchup. That is what you have going for you. It's a good matchup. I expect him to take plenty of chances. But yeah, maybe a DFS. I could get to him in DFS way easier than I could in the prop market.
Hear me out. I know this is a lot of stupid shit that's going to come out of my mouth here, but Eric Gordon is like one of my favorite guys to live bet ever. Mm-hmm. Because if that guy hits one of his first 2 shots, he will shoot the ball 20 times in that game. I will guarantee you that. Because I've watched him play the Bucks probably 25 times. And obviously the Bucks everybody talks in football about a run funnel. The Bucks are a 3-point funnel. That's all they are. Yeah. And if Eric Gordon makes one of his first 2 shots, turn on their game, watch the first 5 minutes when Gordon's in. If you see him hit one of them, you smash that over because that man is going to shoot so much. And that's kind of how he is. But when he misses, it just kind of slows down. You don't really see those types of numbers come from him. So definitely more of a live spot on Eric Gordon for sure on my end there. Actually, Mr. NBA Props 20, hold the phone on this one. I will be talking about it later in the show. Little sneak peek for my long shot here. So don't kill it for me. I'll make sure I get to it in a second. He's definitely Definitely a microwave for sure. Definitely. That's exactly what I would say there. Luka Doncic over 8.5 assists, a fade with the low spread. Personally, myself, I would roll with Doncic's rebounds assists as well. I really like his rebounding prop against the Knicks tonight. I'm seeing 8.5 at plus like 115. And I always love grabbing rebounding props versus the Knicks. We have no Kristaps tonight. Obviously, that's pretty big news. Only real thing I really worry about is Dwight Powell being his crazy running around with the chicken head cut off type of thing where he just grabs every type of rebound. But I think Luka Doncic is going to have enough opportunity and enough run tonight that he will probably get me there. 8.5 rebounds will be on my VIP card. Obviously, I didn't post it here for the show, but I really like his rebounds tonight.
That's interesting. Luka, he doesn't look very good out there. I mean, Luka is one of those guys that I was thinking he probably could be the MVP this year if he had a good year, but I'm really not liking what I'm seeing at all. I don't know. Maybe this is just me. I don't know how I feel about betting on him. Maybe it's because Twitter likes to kind of roast him, so I see a lot of negative stuff about him. But he looks real tired and out of shape when he's playing out there. So I think rebounds is better. I would be careful with assists. This game could legitimately be like 90 to 88 in the end, and assists in those kind of games are always tough. The Knicks have played at one of the slowest paces in the league since the beginning of last year. So I don't know. It's interesting. Luka's a tough case for me.
Yes, actually, the second slowest pace in the NBA. Dallas is not far behind. They're in the bottom 6 in pace as well. So this is probably an unders game. I really like rebounds in unders games. That's why I love rebounds in Knicks games. I don't know if you guys have started to notice this, but most of my rebounding props are in Knicks games. They're in games that defenses actually played, right? You need to grab those when you're going with rebounding props. With Doncic, I love his rebounds. That dude, literally, if he gets like 6 or 7 assists in the first half, guess what? He's probably going to push for that triple-double. He's going to get those garbage Russell Westbrook type rebounds where they just tap you the ball, right? Looking at his last game, obviously that massive triple-double against the Bulls. But even against Golden State, grabbed 7 boards, 8 boards against Denver, 9 against OKC. I just think the rebounding side is a lot safer than this assist side, and I'm getting plus money. I signed myself up for that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just wanted to make sure the world heard my my criticisms of Luka because I do have an MVP ticket and it's not looking very good right now. So
we got Rose Runner back. Talking about Kyrie points. Any thought tonight on Kyrie points playing the Bulls in a really high total game and a pretty fun matchup? I lean KD in this one. I think this is a KD game, to be completely honest. I don't see anyone being able to guard him. Obviously, you have DeRozan, who's a fantastic defender. But you can throw Levine. You can throw Alonzo, who's a little longer. I mean, there's a lot more guys I think can guard Kyrie. Where if you send DeRozan at Kevin Durant, who's a 7-footer, and DeRozan, I think, is like 6'8" or 6'7", still pretty big, but Durant has been making his field day off that mid-range jump shot lately. When I watched him play the Bucks, he just murdered us on that one dribble pull up. Dude, it's just so nasty in that spot. I just have a hard time seeing this game kind of getting into anything besides KD kind of just blowing up. That just screams a KD blow-up game on national TV.
Yeah, if Caruso was back, I would like it less, but since Caruso's still out, Lonzo I would assume guards Harden. That's
Is
my
he back? Is he back? Did they say he's in?
Harden?
Yeah.
We don't know. That's why there's no lines for this game. So we're all just kind of sitting here waiting. But so just in my head, imagining the big 3 play, because his number that he asked about was 19.5. That assumes Harden's in. Then I'd imagine Lonzo guards Harden, and then he gets AO. So if they're all in, I could get to Kyrie at 19.5, but you're right. This slates up. Like I'm saying I could get to Kyrie at like 21, but that's also assuming KD scores like 35 because that feels like it's going to happen no matter what. Like, what do you think KD's line opens up if all 3 play?
If all 3 play, I'm seeing 29.5, probably 29.
I think we might get like a 27, which I think I would be interested in.
I hammered him before the news of Harden coming out because I liked him last game. And it was 27.5. I hit that one pretty hard and moved up to 29.5. Unfortunately, the line movement killed a couple of the people I sent it to, and he ended up with 28. The thing is the Nets are in a lot of games lately that have been blowouts, whether it be them blowing someone out or them getting blown out. And Steve Nash is again, this is a Steve Nash hate show. I hope Steve Nash is fired for his entire career. I really hope that he never gets another coaching job. He's literally going to turn into the NBA version of Mike McCarthy, where he gets carried to a title by superstars, and then everyone says he's an NBA championship coach. Well, guess what? McCarthy is an NBA champion or an NFL champion coach. Do you think that he is a Super Bowl type of caliber coach? No, he's a piece of shit. He's awful. He is the reason the Cowboys have lost games. Yes, I'm going on a rant because I hate Mike McCarthy. I think he's honestly awful. Same thing with Nash. Nash is a piece of shit. He sucks. He pulled his starters against the Bucks. The Bucks kept Giannis in up 21, and there's still 7 minutes left. He pulled his entire starters. And if anything gets out of hand in this game, which easily one way or the other, both teams are extremely good. If the Bulls get up like 12, am I confident that Steve Nash is not going to just throw it in the towel? No, I have absolutely zero confidence. So whenever I'm on the edge, I always lean the under if I'm on the edge of anybody, because Steve Nash is the worst coach ever to touch the face of the earth. I don't even think I could probably pull a guy from the Chinese basketball league and put him as a coach. And he would be better than Steve Nash. Steve Nash, I need to stop before I get rolling, because this man is the worst coach I've ever seen.
Yeah, is that a good transition to get to the DFS part of the show?
God damn. Oh, well, I got a guy with an awesome take. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. Nash is the NBA version of Mike McCarthy. It is literally straight. The exact same person. Except McCarthy's like 450 pounds.
Good point. There you go.
All right. All right. We got two more. Oh, no, we can't. After that transition, we got to go straight to DFS here. And we'll get to the rest of your questions. But yeah, let's roll with them. We'll have Mr. Monotone start with his here.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you guys the chalkiest. I don't even know if we need to talk about this for that much longer, but I can't get away from playing Embiid, at least probably in 40 to 50% of my lineups tonight. Everybody on Twitter is on Embiid that I know of, at least when I was checking this morning. He's 130-point game away from tying the Allen Iverson and someone else record, blah, blah, blah. He's playing amazing. Charlotte's the worst matchup possible. You guys all know this. If you're in this stream, if you don't, I don't mean to hate on you. I'm just assuming that most people that hang out in these circles, I don't want to talk down to anyone. We all know Embiid is the obvious play. And if we're doing a DFS show, I don't think we can move on without mentioning that he's going to be in a decent amount of my lineups. So, yep, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, dude, he is just right now. He's kind of a cheat code. You just don't see a 7-footer shooting as well as he is. I think one thing that might keep me out of his line, might keep me out of a few lineups, is just that we've been seeing his assists just shoot through the roof without Seth Curry. And I think that's huge. I think that's big news because we don't know if he's playing. He's questionable, I believe, right now. But without Seth Curry in his last 2 games, 7 and 6 assists, that's an extra 9-10 points there.
Yeah.
In when you're on FanDuel, I do not know. I think DraftKings is the same format for it. But man, it's just he is literally doing everything for this team, and we're gonna have him play against these guys. These guys are so bad. They beat my Bucks too, which hurts. But who is gonna guard them? What are you gonna throw? Plumlee? Come on, man. Plumlee's going to get murdered.
It is going to be Plumlee. I bet Plumlee fouls out in 20 minutes tonight. So,
I mean, if I am the Hornets here, what I would do is you have to pretty much play small ball and then just immediately double. That's pretty much your only way. That's the only way here. Because if you can you can maybe throw PJ Washington at the 5 and make Embiid come out. PJ Washington is athletic as shit. This dude blew up on the Bucks. I don't think he had huge numbers, but he was everywhere, grabbing boards, blocking shots. If you're able to kind of use PJ Washington in that slasher type of role and spread the floor, I think that they have extremely big success here on these guys. But that's the only way. You got to put Washington and then double them immediately.
So, yeah, what you said is exactly what I think they're going to do at the 5-minute mark when Plumlee has 2 fouls and Embiid has 6 points already. Like, I really think exactly what you said is right, but I don't think it's enough. Like, Embiid is just on a different level right now. PJ Washington is someone I actually like a good amount as a player.
He's good.
Embiid is like a different level of physicality. Like Washington is nowhere near big enough to hang with him, even with the doubles that are going to come with Gordon Hayward or whoever. So either way, I'm playing Embiid. I get what you're saying though. He's not going to be in 100%, but if Embiid goes 30, 10, 5, 2 blocks, you can't win without him. It's going to be hard unless someone else that you're like heavily positioned on goes off. It's going to be hard. So I'm not going to waste anyone else's time. Like NBA Prop said, insert center here versus Hornets. Let's do it.
Yeah, so I'm on the other guy's side that we're talking about here. I'm on the cheap guy side, which we'll talk about in a second. But I'm rolling with DeJounte Murray here. I can't stay away from this spot. I can't. I'm going to have probably 100% of my lineups. Maybe 90% just in the case of a blowout, and I might just completely fade this game, which is just scary to say with a total that it's at. But DeJounte Murray, man, is going to be a freaking smash spot tonight against this Houston team. We're going into, obviously, all of the Embiid's numbers here. Let's go into DeJounte Murray's here. I don't think he had – against the Knicks, obviously the slowest paced team in the NBA, he still dropped 42. Prior to that, played the Boston Celtics and Philly, 2 of the other bottom 5 pace teams. He dropped 55 and 52 in those. Last time when you're seeing him play against a fast-paced team, you're seeing 47, 70, 55. And now we're getting the worst defense, fastest pace, probably getting him in that 35 to 37-minute mark if he plays in a game that's competitive here. I can't stay away from Murray. If I had to choose, I'm obviously going to go to the Murray side because I am taking Murray because of who I'm going to be talking about in my value spot, which will just transition right into there. We'll roll with you here on Okongwu and get it started here, which could be the guy to get Murray into your lineups or other superstars in that center position.
Yeah, so I wanted to clarify too before, there is a lot of news we're waiting on. It's very possible Okongwu could be relegated to a lower, percentage of my lineups. He's just kind of my placeholder for now. Okongwu, without Capella, the guy can give you a double-double easily. And at that cheap price range, just someone that has such nice natural touch around the rim with one of the best pick-and-roll players in the NBA in Trae Young. He actually is probably the second best. I don't even think that's a hot take. Chris Paul, number 1. I don't think there's a better facilitator in the pick and roll than Trae Young. Okongwu getting to share the floor with him is extremely beneficial to the young player. He does foul a lot. His upside isn't extremely high, but if no Capella, he should be in store for close to 28 minutes in a close game. So Okongwu is currently my placeholder as my value play. But as these injuries happen, if Capella is somehow ruled in, if whatever the Spurs game goes kind of crazy, if we get a lot of news happening relatively soon, then this could change. But for now, I do like Okongwu as a nice spend down option that can get you savings to play some of these more expensive guys.
Yeah, no, I like Okongwu. He played 37 minutes last game, 20 points. It's just he's not going to be unless he's getting blocks and stocks, don't expect him to be like that 40, 50-point game type of guy like a Capella can get. I know that's what people kind of think, though, in DFS. When you take a guy out and you completely interchange him with someone, you don't expect that same type of production, right? But we got 37 minutes, which is really nice to see. Obviously, Capella is doubtful tonight, which would be huge news. If Capella does play, obviously – change accordingly on those. But
100%.
So we talked about what I would do with Embiid, right? We talked about how I would guard him with the double team coming and playing smaller. Well, how are you going to match up with LeBron James playing fucking center tonight? It is not with Alex Len touching the court. Alex Len should not start tonight. And that's just my opinion. Because tell me who Alex Len is going to guard on this Lakers team if he starts tonight.
Yeah, they'll probably play some kind of zone where he sits under under the rim. Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't provide me enough. He doesn't provide you enough actual upside to make him have to be in that game. Because if I'm rolling Marvin Bagley out there, athletic, obviously can guard either Stanley Johnson, who has been starting games. Obviously, I'd be in a little bit of an issue if he does guard LeBron. If he does, obviously might be getting into a little bit of foul trouble. But here with Bagley, I love Marvin Bagley tonight, especially with, like I said, we have no Damian Jones. He's out. We have no Holmes. He just got activated, but he's not playing tonight. So that's huge. He's on G League assignment. So we're going to be having Bagley, Len, and Metu in that center power forward position. I don't even think Tristan Thompson's playing tonight, if I do remember correctly.
He's questionable.
Yeah, but like who do you have playing the spot? You cannot have Alex Len on the court in this game. If he is on the court, he is literally going to be looking like Enes Kanter on the fucking defensive side here in this game. There is no way he guards LeBron. There is no way he's even able to get out to the outside to guard Stanley Johnson when he's shooting threes. Marvin Bagley and Metu, I think, are going to be two of the biggest spots here tonight. I think one of them is the pop-off spot, and I think it's going to be Bagley. We've been seeing him score, let's see, his last game he had 20 points against a very, very good, very underrated Cavs defense. Their front court is fantastic. He scored 8 points, 10 rebounds. Obviously, when he played Denver, he had 12 points, 5 rebounds. Even against Atlanta, I had 12 boards. So, like, the biggest thing for me is I need steals and blocks from him to get to that bigger role here. I just think Bagley's going to have to do it. There's really no one else. I understand that they rather play Metu, and I know that Metu is good. I get that. Coaches hate Bagley. But if you pull Thompson out of this lineup, you pull Holmes, and you pull Jones, and now you have to guard LeBron at a 5. Metu and Bagley have to be the 2, and they have to be moving around. I'm going to roll with Bagley. They're both around the same price. If you do like Metu, I believe they are pretty much the same price on FanDuel over here. But it's really hard for me to get away from him. Metu is obviously coming back, played 22 minutes in their last game. I'd be curious how much they play him in this one. I know he came off of that really long or 3-game absence. And he has been productive when playing. It's just I don't know if this is that type of game where he gets 30 minutes of run only in his second game or third game back off of that layoff.
Yeah.
Let's go here. We got NBA props posted in here. 2 close comparables to PG, defending on points, rebounds, assists. Last 2 T, triple-double against. Yeah. We'll talk about DeJounte Murray, I promise. I'll get a little bit more into him. I obviously am pretty heavy on Mr. Murray here tonight. Plumlee under half a block versus Embiid.
On paper, it sounds kind of good. My problem is Plumlee actually does accumulate blocks at a pretty high rate. Like he it's such a hard stat. Like I would rather just bet traditional Mason Plumlee unders than blocks. Is probably like I don't know. It's a weird spot. Obviously, this kind of feels like a coin flip bet. Even with the foul trouble possibility, Plumlee can accumulate blocks really quickly. So I would just probably pass on this one.
Any thoughts on RJ Barrett over 2.5 assists playing the Dallas Mavericks tonight?
Yeah, I'll take this one. And someone actually asked, I'll relate it to another question. Earlier, somebody asked about Jalen Brunson assists. And I'll say the same thing to both of you guys. I'm not playing any assists in this game at all. I mean, it's exactly kind of the trap we fall into against the Jazz sometimes. And actually, the Knicks were the prime example last season. I think people have forgotten. But I don't really like playing against really good defenses assist or against super slow paced teams. And I really think this game is going to be really boring, really low scoring. Both teams under 100 points. I liked RJ Barrett points initially when I looked at the slate because he's been playing really well recently. And
he's been shooting from deep extremely well too, which is really good to see.
But with Dorian Finney-Smith, over there, it's a tough matchup. I'm just going to pass on assists in that game in general.
Perfect. William, I do not know if you saw this. But Monotone is rolling with Fox over 20.5 points tonight. That is one of his plays, if you did not see that earlier.
Yep.
This is a good question for you, Monotone. Luke Walton or Steve Nash?
I guess Steve Nash, I would say, is at least a player's coach. At least the players seem to like him. I don't think anyone liked Luke Walton. Like, that team was just depressing under him. So I would take Steve Nash there. But it's also unfair to the Steve Nash haters because Walton isn't even in the league anymore. So, like, you're comparing him to a guy that's already been fired.
Yep, I'm sure Nash won't be far behind here, hopefully. I swear to God, if Kyrie leaves, I think Steve Nash is gone, to be honest. I don't think – because Kyrie was pretty much like kind of that like weird spot where he was talking to Nash. Isn't he like they're both Canadians, right? I feel like there was some sort of connection I've heard that they had prior. And if Kyrie leaves, I would see Nash on the street in a cardboard box or something, probably. We have a guy talking here about, I'm guessing, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Feel great about it. Over 6.5 rebounds. I think rebounds is a good spot. I usually only attack Tatum rebounds on this team. I usually never go anybody else, just because I like how he attacks the boards. But yeah, I think this should have enough pace to it. Brown has been fantastic as of late, since Tatum was out for a while there. Since that 50-point game, he has just been a monster. So definitely something I would like there. I probably wouldn't bet on it personally, but I'm more on the Tatum usually for rebounds.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That whole team is healthy right now. He is on a huge trend, right? He's been crushing this number, but there's not a specific reason. And I don't like to target, like, if like Horford went out and he was crushing this number, then I'd be like, there's a clear trend right here. I'll jump on board. Right now, it just seems like he's rebounding very actively, but with Time Lord still down there, with Horford, with Tatum all still playing, there's nothing like yelling my name to go bet this one. I'm kind of in the same place you are. Like, sounds good, but it's not going to get my money.
All right. We have one more here. I see we have a new comment down there, but we're going back up here. DeRozan, over 4.5 assists. Jay actually talking about how he's been killing it over the last 10, getting six assists there. This should be a fun game. Like I said, this I think is the highest point total on the slate. DeMar has been playing at damn near an MVP caliber level. Do you see him getting 4.5 assists tonight?
Yeah, the reason the first guy said again is because this was actually on my card yesterday. I collabed with NBA Props, who's been in the chat, and another guy named Devin's Bookie. We did kind of like a three-way collab yesterday for DeRozan. It hit. I want to see the lineups first. I want to get a good look at the bigger picture in this game, but I could very easily get back to DeRozan assists. He's looking great out there. There's nothing telling me that no red flags. I just want to see all the lineups. I want to get all the information before I get down. But yeah, DeRozan's playing great.
Yeah, he's playing good ball. Like I said, I think he's starting to get a little bit NBA MVP look.
Yeah.
Now I've been hearing that a little bit. Yeah, Nash is his godfather. Yeah, I thought it was something like that. So yeah, guess what? He's on the street. Kyrie leaves, he's on the street.
Yeah.
If the players want him, they'll keep him. Well, that didn't work for Luke Walton, so I guess we'll see how that works.
Yeah.
All right. We made it to your guys' favorite part of the show. Last segment, our long shots for tonight. And we actually saw someone post one leg of your long shot in the chat earlier. I don't know if you saw that. Let me give a shout out to whoever. I got to find that name in here. Mr. Nick adding in one of the two legs of Mr. Monotone's parlay here. Let's hear what you got.
Yeah, so people, I'm on Kuzma, right? Which some people might be like, whoa, like you're on two guys in the same game. That doesn't worry me. Let's start with Embiid. Let's get the obvious out of the way. He's averaging 37 points against Charlotte this year. He's averaging 32 points over his last 10 games. I believe he's hit this number in 8 of his last 10 games. Embiid is on an absolute roll, and there's nobody that can stop him on this defense. As for the Philadelphia win part of that, it's pretty simple. I think there's nobody that can stop Embiid, and I'm not sure Charlotte's going to be able to do enough to get the win. Additionally, moving on to Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie's hit this in all but one game without Bradley Beal starting. I'm not a big Dinwiddie fan. I watch all these Wizards games. So I don't like how he's playing right now. He doesn't seem very comfortable finding his own shot. What really gave him a lot of success with the Nets was driving, and he's taken a lot more threes, which is irritating because he's not particularly good at them. But either way, the stats are way too hard to ignore. He's hit 20, like I said, in all but one game without Beal this season, and I can't possibly ignore that. There's more than enough evidence here for Kuzma and Dinwiddie to easily get over this 20-point mark, so I'm not worried about that at all. As for Washington win, I feel really strongly about this leg, honestly. I think despite the fact that it's a back-to-back, a lot of our guys are young on Washington. And I can't imagine Kuzma feels the least bit tired. This guy's been getting made fun of for 4 years straight, and he's playing the best basketball of his life. I don't think anyone can touch him right now. I'm not worried about fatigue. I'm not worried about any of that. I actually think there is a decent chance that they blow out the Magic, who are lacking all of their rim protection with 2 starting big men out. I feel really good about this. This feels like it should be plus 350, not plus 650. So when I saw these odds, I was immediately in. So I love this one.
Yes. I think the 30 from Embiid should be pretty easy. Dinwiddie. Here's my let's have this little quick conversation here. If you had to pick in DFS, let's just pull up the hypothetical here. Since you're obviously talking about we've talked about Fox on the show. We've talked about Dinwiddie now. If you had to choose between Dinwiddie and Fox tonight, who are you rolling with?
Let's see. Interesting. That's actually really hard because the total is so much different in these games, Dude,
we have about if this switches anything, we have on FanDuel $1,000 more expensive De'Aaron Fox, $7,100 for Dinwiddie, $8,100 for Fox. If you had to choose money, money is obviously an issue in these. Obviously, take that with consideration. You're saving $1,000. Would you take Dinwiddie here? And like you said, a game that could blow out, or are you taking Fox in that game that should be very, very high scoring?
Are we factoring ownership into this or no ownership? Because I think Dinwiddie's going to be popular at that price.
The thing is he was super, super popular last night, and he went off. So I think that you are correct there, that he will probably be decently owned. Let me pull up. I do not have a let me pull up here. Let me pull this up.
I think if we're
Dinwiddie is projected on FanDuel only 7% ownership here.
Well, I don't believe that. I don't know where we're looking. I think by lock, because I think maybe what that's considering is not a lot of people have their lineups in right now because we're still waiting for a lot of information. If I had to guess, I'd say in a lot of bigger fields, he'll be 20 to 30. I don't think Fox will hit that mark. So just in your hypothetical, I'll go with Fox, even though Dinwiddie might be the more obvious or popular guy. I still think I'll go Fox.
Yeah, and also I think it's because I'm on FanDuel for this, and Russell Westbrook right now is sitting at 20% ownership. So you can't really go to both without having to really, really, really change your lineup. I think that's probably why you're going to have to only pretty much pay up for 1 or 2 guards. Fox probably 26, 4 or 5. Yeah, I think he has a great night. And like you said, the one reason I'm thinking that I like Fox too is what you talked about earlier, where you said that he might off that injury, possibly having a little bit of less minutes. I don't think it really matters in the time he plays, but if he gets maybe 4 or 5 less minutes than yesterday, that's pretty big news.
Yeah,
because he had 33, 34 minutes yesterday. Obviously, he was very effective in those, but I'm pretty sure it was 33, 34.
Yeah, it was getting pretty close to 34.
All right, guys, we're going to mine. It's a pretty big number. I'm sitting at a triple-double parlay of Russell Westbrook, DeJounte Murray. I already talked enough about Murray. I don't think you really need to hear me talk much more about it. Like I said, he's had 3 in his last 10 games. The thing about Murray is he's actually missed a triple-double by 1 rebound or 1 assist 2 times in that 10-game span. So he was almost hitting at a 50% clip if it wasn't for 1 rebound or 1 assist. And now we're having Russ in this as well. Russ right now is plus 350 for a freaking triple-double. And what in what universe is that supposed to be? You're giving me a 3.5 to 1 chance that Russ is going to get a triple double. He had obviously didn't get it in his last game against Memphis. Obviously, got blown out. He had 6.7 rebounds, 6 assists. I think that's huge on why this number is where it's at. Like I said, 350 for Murray. I think like 385 for Westbrook. But if you go back, he had a triple double miss by 1 point against Atlanta. If you go back, he's missed it in 4 straight, right? He's missed it in 4 straight. Let's go back before that. He hit it in 3 straight and 4 of 5 prior to that. And now we're getting games here not against anybody, right? We're going to have him playing the Kings. Yes, he had a bad game against the Kings too. The Lakers have been on that weird trend where they haven't been like winning these games that are winnable for them. They played Sacramento in their last one against them. He had 19, 7, and 2 in 33 minutes. So I think that's also why this number is so high. I'm going to take the value here on Westbrook. You're giving me plus 380 on him to get a triple-double. This just screams it in a late-night game. This is just going to be a fun-paced game. And this is a game that Westbrook would thrive in.
Yeah.
Fox and Westbrook going back and forth. Like you said, Malik Monk, or someone in the chat said Malik Monk and Fox are friends. Well, guess who's passing him the ball? Probably Westbrook, right? And guess what? These guys are going to be shooting threes all day. That screams what is it? When all the big guys clear out everybody and let Westbrook grab the rebound or LeBron grab the rebound. This is that type of game. It just screams a Westbrook triple double game. And Murray, I'm going to rely on him. I'm already that heavily invested. Might as well throw another half unit on him to get a triple double tonight.
Yeah, I mean, well, 2 things. One, like Westbrook is going to be the only center on the floor in this game tonight. Like, neither team is going to be playing a center for most of the night, and that's going to hugely benefit Westbrook. He does not get that in most games. And second of all, if you had to just ask me right now, like, or even anytime before the season right now, who are the 2 most likely guards to get you a triple-double in the league? Westbrook is clearly number 1. I don't think anyone can possibly argue with that. It's probably between DeJounte Murray and James Harden for number 2, right? I mean, like, these are the 2 guys. And I mean, I bet Jared Vanderbilt and Ivaka, or however you say his first name, Zubac, have a double-double at 26 to 1 yesterday. And now you're giving me the 2 best, essentially, triple-double guards in the league at 22 to 1, then yeah, I'll have to get on board here. I mean, the odds we're getting here are pretty ridiculous for the caliber of player.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's going to be so many possessions in both of these games. Guys going to be on the ball every single time. Oh man, this is just one that I looked at. I'm like, how are you giving me 22 to 1 odds on this? This just kind of screams like that Halliburton trip, the 3-leg double I had. This one just kind of screams in that department. Obviously, that one was a plus 8,400. This one being a little bit smaller. If I can add another plus 300, we can get it back up there. But yeah, this just kind of is one of those games that both of them, they're just fast. They're a part of 2 of the highest scoring games in the league, in the entire league tonight. And I think Westbrook's on ESPN tonight. So I mean, this just kind of screams like LeBron 48-8 and Westbrook like 14, 10, and 12. That's just kind of what it screams, because LeBron needs to put up his numbers, but hell no. Alex Len ain't touching the floor for more than 3 minutes if he is that coach would be on freaking pension right now in Florida on his ass, because Alex Len guarding LeBron James is a crime.
Yeah. Okay. You just inspired me. I'm gonna put $5 on this one, and I'm gonna give it to you guys in 1 sec. I'm just doing this right now as you're talking because it inspired me, and I told people a little while back that I was gonna do this. So I'm parlaying right now Russell Westbrook triple double with Christian Bezuidenhout to win the Sony Open PGA Tour event this week at 233 to 1 odds.
Hey, you gotta shoot, DM me, obviously just shoot me or text me your Venmo, put $5 on it and add the triple double for DeJounte Murray tonight. Okay. Tell me what the odds are on that for me, because I don't know shit about golf. That's one of my sports I don't know anything about. So I will tail your golf pick, but throw in Murray and tell me what the odds are on that if I throw $5 on it with you.
Okay, I'll need to. I don't have Murray as an option for me right now, but when they do show it, I will text you. It's not an option on my book, but yeah. So $5 pays out 1,170 on just Russell Westbrook and Christian Bezuidenhout to win the tournament at 60 to 1.
What's the odds on those? The final odds, because I'll just add in what it is on here.
Yeah, it's plus 23385. So it's 233 to 1.
Okay, so let me check here. So I'm gonna put 100. Okay, what is you said give me that odds again?
Yeah, here I can just copy and paste it in the chat for you. It's 233 to 1, so 23385.
And then plus 380 was the last Murray line I saw.
Yeah, so
if you put $10, which is what we would throw in together, 11,200 would be the payout.
We're getting you guys real value plays here.
I don't know if this touches value or if it's just straight degeneracy at this point.
Yeah, it might actually be worse than that. I don't know if there is a word, but I'm hyped. That's my golf pick that's my one and done most likely. It's my golf pick of the week. So you know what? We're doing it. I told people I was gonna do it. I said I hyped it up a couple times. So maybe we'll do another. The tournament starts on. Maybe if there's a nice live bet on Friday, I'll throw one in with a touchdown score or two. We'll see.
Yeah, let's see how degenerate we can be. But let's do a quick recap. We're at an hour 15. This is probably, honestly, I'm feeling this is one of our better shows. I feel like everything that we've had has been pretty good. Seam says, hey, give me that last name again. Jay luckily posted that in there. Thank you, Jay. You've been great today. Besides this take on Alex Len double-double. I've been seeing everybody doing those unders trends because that one dude does all those unders and overs.
Yeah.
Alex Len screams that if you have a line on him, demolish those unders because I think that man plays like 7 minutes tonight.
Yeah, that's not a bad. I mean, honestly, that's I'd have to check the odds, but that's also. I mean, maybe I've already given you guys enough bad ideas, so maybe I shouldn't even tap in right here. But
all right, let's go through our quick recap. We'll run through Monotone's plays here first.
Yep, so we're starting out 1 unit on Kyle Kuzma over 20.5 points. You can also play it at 21 full confidence. And then half unit De'Aaron Fox over 21.5 points. Then we're going into DFS. I grabbed Joel Embiid, the mega chalk of the slate today. And then for value, we're going down to Okongwu, assuming that Clint Capella is out. And then finally, we got Embiid to have 30 and Philly to win. And we have Dinwiddie to have 20 and Washington to win. That's under the player performance doubles on FanDuel. And I think the odds just increased to 690 while we were recording. So there you go. Get 690. Even better.
Love it, love it, love it. All right. I'm going to be rolling with my boy Chuma Okiki going with over 6.5 rebounds, minus 105. Mr. DeJounte Murray, rebounds, assists over 17.5. As you can tell, I'm probably going to have close to like 5 units on DeJounte Murray tonight across the board. So we're heavily invested. DFS, I'll have him in most lineups. He is going to be my top play of the day. Going with Marvin Bagley. If you like Metu more, I get it. Those would be my 2 guys. I like those guys for cheap. One of those 2 guys is going to have to go off tonight. And the banger, DeJounte Murray, Russell Westbrook, triple-double parlay. You're giving me 22 to 1 odds on that. Throw a couple hundreds on it. You know, just watch it come back a couple grand. Let me know you cashed in on it. So I'm excited. I love this Ace slate. This video has gone pretty fast. I can't believe it's already at an hour 20.
Yeah.
We've flown through this. Obviously, I'm looking forward to tonight's slate. Lots of great games. Again, if you guys like the content, please drop a like on the video. I got Mr. Monotone's Twitter handle and link in the description. So make sure you go get on that if you want to see more free plays from him. I've been seeing quite a few of your write-ups out there, so good to see that you're killing those. I have my description in there as well. I have my link in there. If you guys want any more free plays from us, that's where we will be posting them. And we will be back in 48 hours talking NFL this weekend. 6 super wild card weekend games. Should be some fun action. I'm very excited for this weekend. So you got anything else for the people, Mr. Monotone?
Yeah, well, while you're over on Twitter, you can follow on YouTube too. That's a good one. I actually posted a video last week when you told me you couldn't do it. I was like, yeah, I'll throw one out here, and it was a winner, so that was good. So yeah, I'm hyped for football. Next week, maybe we switch the format of the show. Maybe we go game by game. Maybe do a little, go a little in depth on those games because I'm really excited for it. I'm about to dive into it. This has been a big slate. Those picks I gave you guys are my only ones of the day so far. I've got golf right now that I'm trying to go more into. And I posted I'm 1-0 in golf this year with my matchup last week. So I'm keeping that one a lot in Discord. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff, but I'm super hyped to dive into football after this slate ends. It's exciting.
Yeah, I know. I love how NBA is kind of doing it this year where I get a heavy day Monday, a little bit of a break. I get throw some college basketball in there. I've got a heavy day today. College basketball, NBA, and then after tomorrow, I just get to do a few college basketball and then study all football. So I'm very, very excited to see that. So hopefully we'll see all you guys in there on Friday. Should be going live, I think, around 2 again. Yeah, I'm excited. I think we're going to kill it this week. Yeah, any last words for the people?
Go Raiders.
Sounds good. I will be sitting cheering for. I don't even know who I'm cheering for. I really don't know. I like
on Friday and see, right?
Yeah, I like the Packers at Lambeau. I'll take them any day there. So we'll see. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Show ran a little longer. So thank you guys for staying in here with us this whole time. We'll see you in 48 hours. Peace.